Good morning, students. Hello, students. Good morning to all of you. Okay, welcome to the live coaching classes of the Board of Studies of ICAI. I'll be teaching you the CA Foundations subject on which is basically the business correspondence and reporting. And the topic for this session is resume writing. So I've assembled, like my notes for all of you, and some sources of information for my notes for this lecture are obviously ICAI's training material. I've used some certain sections of the Wikipedia, and I've also used certain websites from the internet and my own proprietary material. So students, welcome all of you to this session. My name is Chartered Accountant Jaideep Barve, and I am from Mumbai. And can each of you who is present at this moment, can you just give me a brief profile about yourself, like where are you from and about yourself? Just one or two sentences. You can type in the chat window. Hello, students. Yeah, hi, good morning. Can I see some responses from your end? I just wanted a brief introduction about yourself, students. Hello. Okay, so let me give you a brief introduction about my own self. I am CA Jaideep Barve. I am from Mumbai. By qualifications, I am a chartered accountant. I've cleared in 1996. I've also did my ICAI during that period of time. Additionally, I am a graduate from Commerce from Mumbai University, and I've also qualified the Independent Directors Examination organized by the ICAI. That's the qualification from India. In addition to this, I have also done my Certified Internal Auditors course from IIA, Florida. I have done my CMA and CFM from the Institute of Management Accountants, New Jersey. I stay in Mumbai, and I practice. I'm a practicing chartered accountant. I like to talk at various business forums, business management schools, and love speaking to students, love speaking to entrepreneurs and people. I've got about 28 years of work experience, both in India as well as overseas, and spanning different work environments. So I believe, I would like to share my experiences and, like some kind of, insights, whatever I've learned during my professional career with all of you during my lectures. I've also got certain other extracurricular activities, like I love cricket and I love movies. And I also love to write. So that's a bit from my side. What I would like to do is that for our session, since the videos can't be kept on right now because of the number of participants, but what I can do is that let's communicate, let's chat, let's discuss, let's share our experiences. And it is better always to have a healthy dialogue, a to and fro dialogue, rather than just having a monologue from the speaker. So I would expect all of you to be active participants. I would be giving you some kind of exercises which I would expect that you people will be solving during the course of these sessions. And I hope that you would enjoy these little exercises, and whatever it is, we will discuss whatever we write and we'll try to improve upon them. Yeah. And just make sure you're participating eagerly during this seminar. Otherwise, you'll definitely get bored. And since I'm not able to see you, I do not want to visualize, sleeping faces at the end of it. Yeah. So, friends, let's start with the session now. Now, the first thing what I would like to do is a little bit of brainstorming, and that brainstorming would be on the topic of resume. So yeah, so I've got a bit of information from your end. Like a lot of people have responded: Anurag, Harshita, Prem, Mukta, Pranjali, Thia Ishwar, Kamal, Mohammed Sarfraz, and yeah, thanks a lot, Rushita. Yash, thanks a lot for all your responses. Vidya, Yashika, Ezil, Ash. I'm sorry if I missed out some names, but thanks a lot for your responses. You're all CA students. You're going to be, chartered accountants just like me. And since all of us are from the same fraternity, we should have a healthy spirit amongst us, and we should all support each other in our quest for professional successes. So the first thing I would like to ask you is, we'll just do a little bit of brainstorming about resume. So resume. So what is a resume? So kindly, can you just put in your words in the chat box? What is a resume? Yeah, students, can you just type in your chat box, what do you understand by a resume? A one-liner, a two-liner, quick ones. Come on, let us see some responses from your end. What is a resume? Is it a document? Is it a piece of paper? Is it a note? Is it a memo? What's a resume? Yeah, students, please type in your responses. Please type your responses, students. Okay, so I'm getting some responses. Rakesh B is saying it's a biodata. Good. Nalesh is saying resume is short information or profile. A Lakshmi is saying it's document. Devesh is saying biodata of ourselves. Sanjay, resume is a personal information. Good. Anushka Gupta, resume is document containing information about ourselves. Rushita, resume is a document that introduces you. Subha T is saying details about me. Aditya is saying resume is a document that introduces you. Okay, so fairly everybody is coming to a conclusion that a resume is a document. That's one. And second, it is giving some information. Now that some information is about you, your own self, and that information is for portraying you, for showing you to the rest of the world. You are a student now, or once you clear your CA, you would be once you clear your CA, you would be seeking jobs, or you might be part of some high profile delegations or conferences. So it's you would require to prepare your resume. So what is a resume? Is that some piece of document, some piece of paper which is carefully written, which actually showcases you. Right. So we are getting a lot of other interesting responses also. And I'm very happy that, you are all taking the efforts to think about it. So document represents skills, education, background. Yes, correct. So that's the first brainstorming what we've done. Second, why do you need a resume? So second question I would like to pose before you all is, why do you need a resume? So we all said that resume is a document that confirms that informs or conveys information about you. So why do you need a resume? Any guesses, students? Any guesses? Why do you need a resume? Am I audible now? Am I audible now? Daneshwari Marali is saying, her voice is very low. Daneshwari Marali, is my voice okay now? Can you hear me? Okay. So why do you need a resume? Yeah, students. Why do you need a resume? Come on, let's type in the chat box. Come on. Please reply. Let's see what you can think of. Sir, it is needed for job application. Good. It gives information to the prospective employer to introduce ourselves to the company. Yes. Job applications so that person can know about us. Right. Saves time of the employer. So Shubham Gupta is saying it saves time for the employer. Interesting answer. For interviews, for recruitment. Okay, okay. So fairly good, fairly good. So what does a resume do? Why do you need a resume? Is because it will give some information about you to the other person, right? Otherwise, how would that person know? How would that person know something about you? So you definitely need a resume, right? Now, where do you require a resume? You might require a resume even for your further studies. If you want to do, take some foreign courses or go to some postgraduate courses, you might require a resume for your jobs. You might require a resume even for your delegations, for conferences, if you're invited as a speaker. So resume is required at different occasions. Okay, my next question for brainstorming is, should your resume be in oral form or written form? Oral or written? Should your resume be in oral form or written form? Yeah, students, come on. Should your resume be in oral form or written form? Yes, students. Should your resume be in oral form or a written form? Okay, so everybody's saying it should be a written form, right? Written. Very nice. It should be in a written form. So one thing is written. Second thing is it can also be in a electronic format. Or nowadays, even the video format is also accepted in some companies. Like YouTube, if you go, there is a resume builder in YouTube. So video format also may be the need of the hour tomorrow. But yes, by and large, a resume has to be in a written mode. Okay. So another brainstorming question: how long should be a resume? It should be how many papers long? Like it should be one paper, two papers, 3 pages, or a detailed essay. What do you say? Like it should be what it should be? Like how long it should be? 1 or 2 pages, or a detailed note about you? Yeah, students. How long it should be? Yes, students. Should it be a short and crisp document or a detailed essay or detailed long document which shows all the things what you've done in life? Come on, students. Need your answers. 1 or 2 pages. Okay, somebody is starting to 2 to 3 pages, 1 to 1.5 pages, 2, 3, 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. Good, not detailed. Lovely, very nice. Maximum 2 pages, consensus. So nice, very nice. So basically, you are saying it should be a short, crisp document, not a detailed essay, not a detailed document. So 1 or 2 pages, maximum 3 pages it can go, but it should be crisp, it should be to the point, and it should be very relevant. Very good, students. Very nice. Another thing what I would like to ask you is that once you create a resume, is your job done or you need to update it as and when it is necessary? A straightforward one, should a resume be a static document or it should be updated on and off periodically as and when? Okay, I've started to getting some replies now. It should be updated. Good, very nice. It should be updated. Okay, should we go to the next one? Yes, students. Once you make your resume, is your job done, or it needs to be updated? It needs to be enhanced to another level. As and when it is necessary, changes have to be done. Some more responses from end. I've just seen only one response as yet. Okay, update it as necessary. We need to update. Okay, now it's coming. Very nice, very nice. So basically, it has to be updated periodically. See, because why? You might be having newer educational qualifications. You might have acquired different skills, both in technical grounds as well as soft skills. And you would have changed jobs. You would have changed the houses, your own personal information. So a resume, as and when changes are done, has to be updated periodically. Okay, last one for you on the brainstorming bit before we go on to the other slides is any guess a resume is called by which other names? Any guess a resume is called by which other names? Okay, so Atulya has given me the first response. Atulya, good. You are saying CV. So what is CV basically? I mean, any idea what is the full form of CV, Atulya? Okay, where are the responses? I can see CV, biodata, curriculum vitae, yes, right? Biodata. Oh, well, a resume cannot be a job application letter. A letter is different from a resume. So, Azil KG, sorry, who's saying that? Ria. Okay, Ria, you are saying it's a job application letter. It cannot be a job application letter. You can call it either a biodata or a CV. Yeah. Uh, because you will have a covering letter along with your resume. So, okay, Sarfraz, I had asked you a question that which are the other names for a resume? So biodata, CV is right. And I think Aditya and Sanjay, they are saying it's a, so Aditya is saying it's a chronological resume or a combination resume. Aditya, you given me the answer for the various formats of a resume. We will take that during the latter part of our session. So by and large, everybody is agreeing that it is a CV, it's a biodata, it's a resume, all are one and the same. And Chavi Agarwal is saying it's a memoir. Chavi, it's not a memoir. Memoir is a story about like something. So or your memories. So yeah, so that's what. And I think again you're saying biodata isn't for marriage. Can it be for professional purposes too? See, here we are talking only about professional purposes. So for your jobs or for your professional updates, we call it a resume, we call it biodata, or we call it a CV. So let's not discuss about the marriage and proposals and all this in this lecture. Yeah. So let's go to the next one. I would like to ask you, we all watch movies. So the first thing what comes into our what we see as part of the publicity and the promotion is the film's poster, right? So can you draw any inference between a film's poster and your resume? Is there any kind of a logical agreement between both of them? Can you link a film's poster and resume? Yes, no, and why? can you link both like a film's poster and resume? Okay, guys. Yes, students. Okay. Well, I asked a question that we have all seen a film's poster, right? So, how would you draw an analogy between a resume and a film's poster? Is there a link between both of them? See, what does a film's poster do? It gives you information about the film, right? It tells you who the hero is, like based upon the picture on that, you get to know whether it's, like a period drama or, like a comedy film or a suspense movie, who is the director, and, like who's created the music. So a film's poster, like gives you a lot of information, right? So that film's poster actually speaks about the film. You do not have to watch a 3-hour movie. By just looking at a film's poster, also you get an idea of the film, right? So a resume is what? A resume is a document which you're going to prepare. So about your own self. So let's say it's only a 2 to 3 page document. So it's going to give the complete history, the complete potentiality of about you to the prospective employer. So there is some kind of analogy. And yeah, so a lot of people have given answers. Somebody saying it is for self-promotion, it is giving personal data. But by and large, yeah, so resume is an ambassador of about yourself. Film's poster is ambassador of that film. So, like we tend to, create a first impression about the film based upon the film poster. We tend to create a first impression about the employee based upon the resume of the prospective candidate or the prospective employee. Okay, fair enough. Okay, great. So now we'll sum up all these discussions of our, brainstorming. Is that a resume in a very simple language? A resume in a very simple language is a document that provides information about you. Now that you might be a job seeker, a student, or an experienced professional. So what it does, it introduces you, the candidate, to the prospective employer or the person who's, like called you for some function and provides information related to you. So just to sum it up, a resume is a document that provides information about you. Now, what does a resume tell? So resume will have lots of things, right? Lots of things. So typically, what does it tell? So it tells who you are, number one. It tells what have you studied, so which is basically your education. Third, it will tell you where have you worked. So all the companies, all the organizations where you work for in the past, it will give you information about that. What are your accomplishments? So you might be a rank holder in your examinations. You might have stood first in your college, first in your school. You would have passed some other, qualifications. You would have different merits, awards, certifications. So these are accomplishments. So a resume would give information about your accomplishments. They would also, a resume will also highlight the skills what you have. See, everybody is born with some kind of a skill. Now that skill might be a technical skill, which is a purely accounting skill, or a technical skill like in taxation or in law or in audit, or it can be a soft skill. Like for example, a person might be very good in writing reports. A person might have a flair for the language. So he might do excellent presentations. He might be a very assertive speaker. So all the skills also can be displayed and highlighted in a resume. And the resume basically is a document about selling your own self. So the purpose of a resume is what? The purpose is that the person should be motivated to actually see the resume and then call you for the interview. Once the interview is done, based on the resume, he'll ask you the questions and then he should be able to select you. So everything is in a chain. The first step is an effective resume based upon which a person will call you for an interview. Based on the resume, is going to also ask you questions. And then if you're very good, he might give you a job. So what happens is that a resume is always a first step. So somebody is saying, Mukta Vyas and Ezil KG is saying that, sorry, Mukta is saying, isn't a resume different from CV? See, resume, biodata, and CV are all used interchangeably. They are all used interchangeably in common words. So some of the companies, they say, send us a resume. Some of them say, send us a biodata. Some of them use CV as a tool. And Ezil is asking, sir, why are hobbies needed for a CV? Now that's a question, which obviously I was going to take later on. But what I would like to just tell you briefly is that, see, some of the companies would not just look at you as a person who's having, accounting, taxation, auditing, or legal, or, English skills. They would also like to know who the person is, where he's actually interested in, what kind of hobbies he's into. So to know the person in a bit more, a better manner. So, it is okay even if you put hobbies in the resume, because that would give an extra dimension information about you. Fine. So based upon all this, okay, so what I'm going to ask all of you is that the time is now 11:27, and now in the next 5 minutes, what I would like to, or let's say, let me give you 8 minutes, okay, what I would like each one of you to just write a short resume about yourself. I'm not going to give you, the headings about, what has to go into a resume. Whatever you know about, what goes in a resume, if in the next 8 minutes, if you can just turn it around, and then we will pick up 3 or 4 submissions, and then we'll discuss that. Yeah. So now the ball is in your court, students. What I would like to do is that you please document your own resume. Don't give it a long verbose story. Make it, short and crisp. And we will take we'll resume the session after 8 minutes. Yeah. All the best to you. This is your first exercise number 1. Thank you. Okay, students. Let's come back to that our the session. So pretty good responses. I am actually very happy with the kind of outputs you've given. Simran, Rekha, Venam, Vidya, Naleshwari, Mohammed Sarfraz. Yeah. So thanks a lot. And Chavi, Ezil, Kamal, Rushita, Shraddha, Yashika, Rekha, Shobit, Amritpal, Mukta, Manisha, Dhruv, lot many. Thanks a lot for that. So what I can see is that like everybody has more or less given common information. One name everybody has covered. That is very good. You should have a name which you are writing. Secondly, your some of you are actually giving you your address, but your full address is expected, because in case they want to communicate to you with you, or in case it is like they want to do a background check of exactly where you live, so the complete address people mention. And you should also give your email IDs, because nowadays everything is a virtual e-platform. So most of the communications happen through emails, and of course some people have given the mobile numbers also. So even that is also a welcome sign, because people will communicate to you on WhatsApp or SMS or even direct calls. And yes, people have also mentioned about the qualifications. Some of them have spoken about like the skills, like tally and everything. So pretty much the kind of information what a person would expect from a resume. And I think that's a very good sign that at least you are well versed into what goes on in a resume. So thanks a lot, students. uh, Before we go ahead into this, let's quickly understand like was actually the history of resume. So we say resume, but actually it's a French word, and which is also resume, and that means it's summary. And who actually is credited with the first resume? It is the famous painter Leonardo da Vinci. And what he had done is that, in fact, he had written to his potential employer way back in 1481-82, but that was in the format of a letter. And what happened is that over the next 450 years also, uh, the resume, continued to be a more description about a person and included their abilities and past employment. However, beginning from the early 1900s, like they started giving, resumes started giving more in terms of the personal details also. And till 1950, pretty much, it was not evolved. But what happened is that after 1950, resumes started becoming a mandatory thing. And, personal interests, hobbies also started getting into the resume. But like when the digital age actually took off, like in the 1970s, the resumes started becoming more professional in terms of the presentation, in terms of the content, in terms of the way the layout was arranged for the paragraphs. And now what happened is that now this is the 21st century. You are, like youngsters, you are aware of internet, you are aware of social media. So what happens is that everything is now through WhatsApp also resumes people are sending. When LinkedIn was launched way back in 2003, so what happened that it offered a platform to actually post your resumes on the electronic format, and then all your skills, all your employment details, LinkedIn could capture. And what happened is that people who were looking out for candidates, they just used to filter through the attributes what they want and get the people they want. And nowadays what has happened is that with the advent of YouTube in 2006, now video resumes also having started picking up. So that was a brief about the history of resumes. And what I can say is that resume is very important, because it's the starting point of your career going ahead. And not just it's a static document. It used to be evolved on a regular basis as and when changes are required. So as they say, it is not only important what you say, but also how you say. So writing resume is also a skill. So what happens is that you have to portray the most relevant information, highlight your skills, use the best possible words, use the best possible grammar, make sure you are not making mistakes, and ensure that you are rightly highlighted and portrayed in the eyes of the interviewer. So students, now I would like to ask you is that what would be the basic purpose of a resume? What would be the basic purpose of your resume? Purpose. So can you just quickly type down what would be the basic purpose? We are talking only about a professional resume. What would be the basic purpose? Somebody wants to interview you, right? They have put a job application on the Naukri.com or jobseek.com or monster.com. So now they're expecting you to apply. So you are going to apply to that job by virtue of a resume. Now, what's the basic purpose the resume is going to do? Somebody has already posted a job requirement. You are going to apply through that portal. You're going to submit your resume. So that resume is going to do some work for you, right? It's going to do some work for you. So what is the basic thing that resume is going to do? Quickly, can you just type it down? Yeah, so people started introduce ourselves, get hired, to get hired. Simran, Yashika is saying to give basic information, that's okay. Require highlight strength, weaknesses, basic purpose seeking for job. So call you brief introduction. Okay. So what basically we are arguing is that the purpose is that the resume is going to give information about you, but what actually is going to do is going to sell your capabilities, sell your skills, and make sure everything is going to be highlighted. So that's the purpose. That is going to be it's a marketing tool about yourself to prospective employers. Now, should your resume disclose all the things about you? Can you just type in, should a resume disclose all the things about you? Should your resume disclose all the things about you, or let's say only relevant things, pertinent things? Okay, no, not personal things. Okay, as you were saying, not personal things. So Mamta and Kavita are saying that yes. So you're saying that all the things about you should be said in the resume, you're saying. Naman is saying not necessary. Okay, fine. Ria is saying no, it should be only some important information. Vidya Mohammad is saying no, right? It should only disclose the professional aspects. That's what Simran is saying. Whereas Vishal is saying yes, it should disclose all. So, your resume is just, we all said that a resume should be only, let's say, 1 to 2 pages, or let's say 2 to 3 pages. That's it. So your life would be made up of, let's say, 20 years. So how are you going to capture everything about your life in that 2-3 pages document? Secondly, would that prospective employer be actually interested in knowing everything? See, he is asking you to apply for an accounts assistant job. You are not going to tell him that you won the first prize in, let's say, some competition, or, like you have got so many friends, or, you are having so many followers on Instagram. I mean, what you would do is that instead of writing all the possible things about you, you can say that you can only disclose only the relevant things. Only relevant things what the person ought to know. What will actually prompt him to, ensuring that there is some interest levels in your resume, and he will call you for the interview. So your resume need not disclose all the things. It should disclose only the relevant, only the pertinent things. What you should actually say in your resume is that why you are suited for the job. That is, you actually possess the necessary skills, you possess the knowledge, you have the necessary exposure, you have the personality traits to do it. So make sure that you are not including the entire thing about your personal details and about your life. Only the relevant information, only those highlights, only those skills, only the special traits that should be going in the resume. So basically what you are going to do is that you are going to prepare an excellent summary, a very effective and efficient summary about your skills, your qualifications, your experience, or you're going to bundle in the right format and then present it as a resume. So if you do all this, the chances of yourself being called for an interview will be very high. The chances of the interviewer asking questions, the right questions based on the resume, will also be very high. And the chances of your getting a job will be very good. Yeah. So often it is said, like first impression. We always, say that, like the first impression is always the best. And we should actually never ever underestimate the importance of the first impression, because there are some very good quotes that like you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Okay, so what does it actually mean? That it means that like the first impression, whatever you do, it should be good enough for the other person to have some interest in you. Now, in a job market, in a job situation, or in your professional pursuits, a resume is going to be the document which is going to carry information about you. That is the first document. That is the first document what a person is going to read. So he is going to make the first impression about you from that resume. So what you should do actually is that make sure that your resume is going to speak the best things about you. Right? Now, the first impressions are important, we know, right? But that will depend on the content, whatever, like matter you write into it, as well as the presentations. Make sure you are presenting in the right layout, right format, using the right words, using the right tone, using the right verbs, using the right adjectives, making sure that your resume stands out, and gives you the best possible chance of getting into the prospective employee's attention. Fine, fair enough. So having spoken about a resume will always have a partner, a document which goes hand in hand along with the resume. Now that is called a covering letter. It's called a covering letter. Now in today's age, like a covering letter need not be a separate document. In the body of the email itself, you can write that covering letter and attach the resume, right? So what happens in the body of the email? You can write a covering letter. You can introduce about yourself. You can tell him about the job requirements, why you're applying for the job, and some basic 2 or 3 things which will attract that person's attention to your resume. So a covering letter is a necessary part and parcel of a resume. A resume is incomplete without a covering letter. So covering letter will always accompany a resume. So what it actually does is that, see, an employer, like he will put up a job vacancy on the dashboard of any portal. Let's say it's ABC Private Limited. Now they are looking for an accounts manager. So they are going to put down all the list of requirements, the candidates' qualifications required, the expertise required, the experience in number of years, the exposure in the accounting softwares, which is necessary for the person, the exposure towards the taxation regimes, what is expected that a candidate should know. So they will give a lot of information about that, that the do's and requirements for that job position. Now, the covering letter should be written in such a way that it actually reflects your knowledge about the employer and the job. So what it does is that its purpose is actually, it's not just going to introduce you to that organization, but it also will convey your interest in the company, not just in the company, but also in the specific vacancy. Now, this is the first correspondence, because a covering letter will be the first correspondence, and then it will be the attachment will be the resume. Since it is the first correspondence, you should make sure that the covering letter is a neat document, a concise, well-written document, so that your chances of getting shortlisted and being called for an interview are very high. So what, based upon this, what I would like to do is that in the next, let's say now the time is 11:51 or 52, I will give you, let's say about 8 or 9 minutes. I'm going to give you an exercise to all of you, and you are going to write a covering letter for the job of an accounts executive at ABC Private Limited based in Mumbai. I'm repeating the question. You are going to write a covering letter for the job of accounts executive at a company called ABC Private Limited, which is based in Mumbai. Is the question clear? So we will now regroup at 12. I've given you 8 minutes. So whatever you can, you make a very effective covering letter. So please write it down, and I will have a look at it at 12 noon. Okay, students, let's regroup. Let's regroup. So I've got quite a lot of responses, and yeah. So, but many students are also asking me, sir, what does a covering letter say? Please explain the covering letter once again. So let me come back to it again. I will explain it to you once more. But I think Vidya, Nipun, Shivani, yeah, and Amritpal, Kanishka, Priyanka, they have done some good attempt in writing a covering letter. So I'll again come to the concept of a covering letter. Now, covering letter is a document which is actually goes along with a resume. Now, resume cannot just go and be delivered to the job poster. Now, that has in order to have an effective delivery, there will be a pattern in progress. So that is called a covering letter. So what a covering letter is going to do is that it is going to actually carry the attached biodata or resume or CV to the prospective employer. So what a covering letter is going to tell in short is that about you in very brief, about the company, what knowledge you have about the position, and why you feel you are fit for the job. So that would be the covering letter. So I'll just share a screen with you. So in the meantime, I've typed on something. So I'm going to share my screen with you. 1 second. Yeah, is my screen is the screen visible now? Yeah, is the screen visible? Yeah, is the screen visible? Okay, so here is a covering letter, students. I've just written a covering letter. So I started with Mr. ABC, who's the person who's posted the job. He owns the company called ABC Private Limited. That's based in Mumbai. So it's going to be a letter format. Obviously, nowadays I'm assuming I'm actually having a condition that this will be sent by email. So the date credentials will be captured in the email. Now, I'll address him first, that dear Mr. ABC. I will say, with reference to your post in LinkedIn for the position of that open position. So it might be accounts executive, it might be accounts manager. Please find attached my resume. Then I'll introduce him over my qualifications. I'll tell him I'm a CA or ICAI from India. I've also done some additional qualifications of the USA. I'll tell him that I've got some amount of years of experience in diversified companies, both in India and abroad. I've started and led teams. I'm conversant with accounting standards. Total number of years of experience is with which companies, and since I'm also open to relocation, because if even though I'm staying in Mumbai, the job might be in, let's say, Calcutta, or so in Chennai, or in Bengaluru, or Delhi, or Kolkata. So I'm open to relocation. That's what I'm saying. And I'm actually doing it on a active voice, saying that I'm asking him to do a review of that. So I'm saying, please review and let me know in case you have any questions. And I'm doing a very polite closure. I'm giving him my warm regards and signing off with my name. So is that clear how to write a covering letter? So should I show it again? I'll show it again. 1 second, I'll show it again. I'm showing it again. Okay. Can you, I hope this is quite visible. So the covering letter will start with address to, like Mr. ABC, who is the owner of ABC Private Limited. Since he's from Mumbai, I'll say it's from Mumbai. I will have a salutation to the covering letter, dear Mr. ABC. And then I will begin with the covering letter. I'm saying with reference to your post in LinkedIn for the position of accounts manager or accounts executive, please find attached my resume. I'll give a short brief about myself, that I'll tell him that I'm a CA or ICAI from India. If I've done some additional qualifications, I'll also point it out. I'll say I've also done XYZ qualification from USA. Then I'll quickly come to tell him that how many years of experience I have. So I'll tell him that I have, let's say I have about 40 years of experience in diversified companies. And here I'm actually highlighting and telling him that I've worked in India as well as abroad. So I'm trying to give him a different dimension to my personality, because I worked all over the world. So I know how to manage teams which are of different, which can be from different countries. Then I'll say, like I'm the next line is that I'll tell him that I have started and led teams. So, like I will show that I'm having leadership, qualifications and skills. And also, conversant with, let's say, accounting standards or auditing standards or legal provisions. So I'll demonstrate my technical skills also. And then I'll tell him that, my so many years of experience, I have also, been into so and so industry. So like manufacturing, trading, real estate, or hospitality. And then I will, also tell him that, I'm open to relocation, that even though I'm from Mumbai, but if the job requirements, ask me to go to, let's say, European countries or some other part of India, I'm also open to do it. I will end that my covering letter on an active note. I'm telling him to, like requesting him to review my resume and also let me know in case you have any questions. And on a polite closure basis, I'm giving him my regards and just signing off. So hopefully you've, could see the screen. Yeah, was my screen visible? Was my screen visible? My voice was audible? Yeah, students. Yeah, students. I am hoping that you could see the covering letter. Students, please let me know if you could have a chance to read through the covering letter. Okay. So audible as well as yes, sir. So I think I'm getting some responses. Thanks, Vidya, Ayashika, and Sanjay, Ezil, Priya. So I'm assuming that, you could see the screen properly, as well as my voice was quite audible when I was reading out that covering letter. So let's move on to the next topic under resume writing that I'm going to touch base upon, that even before you draft your resume, because I told you resume is all about your skills, you're going to highlight about your skills, about your experience, education, exposure. At the same time, you should also be able to do an honest appraisal about yourself, which is a SWOT analysis. SWOT. Now, even before you draft your resume, please do a SWOT analysis and make sure like you are quite in command of all your strengths. You are knowing what kind of opportunities you would like to venture into, and where you think you should develop your potential. So so somebody saying, Mukta is saying, will you say good usage of words? Okay, Mukta, we are going to come, we will touch base upon this during the latter part of the presentations. Don't worry about that. So the next question before all of you is that, can you just type in the chat window, what do you mean by SWOT, S-W-O-T, SWOT analysis, S-W-O-T. Can you just write? Okay, so I'm getting some answers. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats. Yeah, correct. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Yeah. So Mukta, thanks. Azil, thanks. Ashika, thanks. Devesh, thanks. Okay, so I got the right responses. SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right? Now, some of them out of these four, okay, some of them out of these four are helpful to you. Some of them might be harmful to you. Out of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, can you identify the helpful things? And can you identify the harmful things? Now, helpful and harmful is towards your objectives. So you are going to say which are the helpful towards your objectives, which are harmful to your objectives. Out of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, you are going to tell me which ones are helpful, which ones are harmful to your objectives. Okay, please type in the chat window. Please type in the chat window. Okay, I'm getting some responses. Daneshwari and Vidya are saying, okay, but you have not mentioned what are harmful. Daneshwari and Vidya, you can also type in what are harmful. Shivani has given a reply, which ones are helpful, which ones are harmful. Okay, so some of them are giving me usefuls are, yes, correct. Strengths and opportunities. Harmful is weakness and threats. Perfect. Everybody's understood. Everybody's understood. Very nice. Very nice. Lot of good responses. Now I'm going to ask you one question. Out of these four, some of them are external to you. Some of them are internal to you. Some of them are external. Some of them are internal. Right? So what are external and what are internal? Out of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which ones are external, which ones are internal? Out of strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats, some of them are internal, some of them are external. Okay, I'm getting some responses now. Ria, Ezil, Akanksha, Prem, Cherry. Prem, can you revise your answer? You can revise your answer, Prem. Okay, so fairly people are giving external, internal. So we come to a conclusion that strengths and weaknesses are purely internal. Opportunities and threats are external. So if you do a matrix, right? So we said that which ones are helpful? Helpful are your strengths and opportunities. Which one is internal amongst this? Strength is internal, opportunities are external. So what you should do is that your strength is your internal resource. It is always helpful. You should build up on your strengths. You should capitalize on your strengths. Now, in your resume, you should make sure that your strengths are highlighted. Your strengths are, you might be very good in accounts, you might be very good in financial management, you might be good in costing, tax, audit, law, you might be very good in English language, you might be a very good speaker, you might be very good in managing people, being good, having good interpersonal skills, you might be good in theater, you might be good in drawing, dancing, you might be a quiz master. These are your strengths. In your resume, you should make sure that all your strengths should be highlighted. Your strengths should be highlighted so that the prospective employer gets a good glimpse about you, right? At the same time, opportunity is also very helpful to you, but it's external. So your opportunity should be in such a way that you should be looking ahead for opportunities in the future, which will help you decide at the course of your career. So a smartly written CV will make sure that all the strengths are properly highlighted, they are capitalized upon, as well as opportunities what you see are also nicely reflected in it. So what you would like to tap to become a successful person. So all you may know, if you want to have a job in the banking sector, you might aim to be, like the president of the bank or something like that. So your career objective might have, the opportunity for that. Whereas your strength will be your core banking skills, core, like financial management skills. So make sure that all your skills are nicely, properly worded, and they are coming out in your resume, right? So we discussed about SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis is done not only for your resume, but also in your future career also. Wherever you are going to work on, you are going to do a SWOT analysis because it's a strategic planning techniques. So before you undertake a project, during your project, after you have the project is over and you are going to do a review, you will do a SWOT analysis because you are going to get pertinent and relevant information about that particular thing, right? Now, when it comes to your resume, right? Now, what happens is that your strengths and opportunities, like it will be helpful in achieving your objective. provided that you're able to use them and leverage it in the right way. Whereas what are weaknesses and threats? अभी हम लोग तो we all said that like strength is good, weakness is bad, right? Strength is internal, weakness is internal. But what is weakness? Weakness is a reality check. Weakness is a reality check as to actually where you stand vis-a-vis others, right? And what is a threat? Threat will actually tell you, all right, these are my aspects actually I should need to improve upon. So this is a pure internal exercise what you're going to do before you draft your resume. Because after you do this analysis, it will become very easy for you to highlight your abilities, to highlight your skills in that resume. Moreover, you will be able to map your qualities vis-a-vis the requirements or expectations of the job, whether it is academic or professional or any competition. Now it also shows that you're continuously working towards strengthening your strengths, overcoming weaknesses. So it helps you to portray your image as a outward looking person, as a forthcoming person. Now, if you are able to do this analysis in a proper way, your resume is going to be a very clear document. It's going to be more complete document, and the likelihood of you getting shortlisted is going to increase. Yeah. Okay. Somebody is saying, Mukta is saying, leverage means what? Leverage is basically taking advantage of. Yeah. Now, a small exercise I would like to do for you, you all should do that. You can do an honest appraisal about yourself and do a SWOT analysis about your own self. So the time is about 12:21 now. I'll give you 9 minutes. And then by 12:30, we'll regroup. And then I would like to see a SWOT analysis about your own self. Yeah, the time starts now. Okay, students, let's regroup. Regroup. I have seen, yeah, I've seen the responses. Uh, Pretty good attempt. I mean, people have given it a thought about what are their strengths, where they find their weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I think Ezil has asked one question: how should I analyze opportunities and threats? Now, Ezil, the answer to this is that like see, one is your strength, which which you're strong at. One is your weaknesses. Now, opportunities are where you feel you can tap those, you can take advantage of those and come out in the future. Like opportunities is that you can, the digital world is changing, new things are coming, or like all these enactments in the laws are happening, so you can get a better grasp about all these things in a digital way. So all these opportunities are there for you, or you can study not just Ind AS, but also you can study the international accounting standards or IFRS, or you can do some courses in derivatives, to get a better edge. Or maybe you can do a wealth management course or information systems audit. So those are the opportunities for you to take advantage of, tap those and come ahead in your career. Threats are those where you perceive that if you're not able to do this, then it is some danger to your objectives. See, you always have some objective. You have an objective, like that you want to become a chartered accountant. But what's the threat is that the threat for you is that you'll not be able to find time, or you are going to have some kind of a problem understanding some subject, or there is some comprehension ability for a disability for you. So those will be the threats. So having said that, so somebody saying, Sapna Palia is saying it's a voice problem. I think I'll be a little bit more louder if, but I guess the others are quite okay with the my audibility. They can hear my voice. Okay, so let's go on to the next point. So we've done the SWOT analysis now, right? We have also done understood what is the basics of a resume. Now, what I would like to understand from you is that, see, people write resumes in different formats. Now, there are some people try to write the resume in a very chronological format, like date-wise or time-wise. Some people try to write resumes based on the skills. Some try to write resumes combining both of them. Yeah. So I will quickly touch base upon all those three types. The first type which I'm going to tell before all of you is the chronological format. Now, chronological format is basically listing down in the order of events. But what we actually do in order to have a more impactful resume is that we do a reverse chronological format. That means the job which you're doing, the most recent will be the first which is put on the resume, and then it goes down till your first job. So what it does is that it identifies all your job history in a reverse format, in a reverse way. And it focuses on all companies where you've done work. It focuses on all the job titles, the positions you've enjoyed, the number of reportees which you have had. And what happens is that such formats like chronological format are not only commonly understood, commonly available, and commonly used formats, but they are suitable for candidates having a different variety of experience. Like they have worked in, let's say, 20 different companies, so they would like to highlight those companies. So going from the most recent to the earliest, they will actually list down the chronological experiences. They will also list down the most recent qualification to the most earlier qualification, so as to have a more recency or more engagement of the audience who's going to read your resume. The second format is the functional format. The second format is a functional format. In this, what happens is that in this, your skills, your abilities, your accomplishments, they are given a lot of thrust. They are given a lot of importance. So what happens is that in chronological format, your job titles, your industries, they are having importance. But in functional format, these will not have much of importance. In fact, they are given a secondary prominence. What is more important is that what are your skills, what are your work, work experiences, not work experience, in terms, sorry, work skills, your accomplishments, any achievements, what you've done in your work, in your career till date, they are actually put in a functional format. Now, what happens is that your work experience is de-emphasized, but what is coming out is your specific job skill sets, they are actually being highlighted. Now, where people use this format is that suppose somebody loses a job and there's a big gap. So what they do is that in order to cover up for, let's say like 7-year gap, 8-year gap, they try to place more emphasis on the skill sets that they have, or, the job attributes that they have, that will actually impress the reader of your resume to take a decision in your favor. So one is a chronological format, which I've explained to you, which is actually listing down all your work history from the most recent to the earliest. In the functional format, what happens is that it does not talk much about your work history, does not talk much more about your work experience. It talks more about your skill sets, more in terms of attributes, more in terms of what you're capable of, and how the specific job requirements can be met by using your skill sets. So that emphasis on the functional format. Now, you got a third format, which is a combination format. Now, you got a third format, which is a combination format. As the name suggests, it's a combination of the chronological as well as the functional format. So what it does, it typically begins with the functional format and finishes with details of the organization, as well as employment history. So it starts with functional and ends with your chronological thing. So what actually does is that it gives you a list of all your skills. It also gives you a list of all your employment and education history. Now, where it is most suitable is that people who want to actually highlight their employment history as well as their skills, they would like to use such a kind of a combination format. Now, all the three formats are used. Now, as I said, you have to, when you write your resume, you have to select the right format. You can do a chronological one, you can do a functional one, or you can make a hybrid or a combination one. That actually depends upon you. And how you will determine that is basically based upon the experience you have, exposure you have, education you have, and the type of requirements which the company job poster is providing. Now, having said that, let's go quickly and solve some kind of a multiple choice questions. Now, I've given you some MCQs. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you. And what you are going to do is that I'll give you about 10 minutes, and then you will post these answers onto the chat window. There are about 5 questions. You are going to select the best possible answer to it. I'll just quickly share my window. So what I will do is that after every 1.5 minutes, or let's say 2 minutes, I will change the slide. Okay, and then you can go to the next question. You can note down on a piece of paper, and then after all the 5 questions are displayed, then you can give all the 5 answers in one go. Yeah, thank you. I'll just share the screen now. Okay, I'm starting the slideshow now, and you'll be able to see the screen. So, is the screen visible to you? Is the screen visible? Yeah, students, was the screen visible to you? Students? So is the screen visible to you so that I can start? Okay, let me do it again. The screen is visible. Okay, is the screen visible? Okay, great, great. Okay, so we are starting. I'll read out the question. You can note your answer on a piece of paper. And let's say after some time, once all the questions are being asked, then you can submit in the chat window for answers for all the questions in one go. So the first question, select the best answer. Select the best answer. A resume is a document that provides information about the candidate or the prospective employee. Second choice, resume provides information about the employer. A resume provides information about the environment. A resume provides information about the business cycle. I am reading out all the four choices. The first is resume is a document that provides information about the candidate or the prospective employee. Second, a resume provides information about the employer. Third, a resume provides information about the environment. Fourth, a resume provides information about the business cycle. So you have to select between A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to the next question now. The second question, a resume can be in a documented format. A resume can be in a visual format. A resume can be in an oral format. A resume can be in a documented or visual format. I'm just reading it out. A resume can be in a documented format. A resume can be in a visual format. A resume can be in a oral format. A resume can be in a documented or a visual format. So let me get into the next question. Select the best answer. A resume should be short and crisp. A resume should be detailed. A resume should be in a diagrammatic format. A resume should be in a coded language. I am repeating them once again. Select the best answer. A resume should be short and crisp. A resume should be detailed. A resume should be in a diagrammatic format. A resume should be in a coded language. I'm going to the next question. Select the best answer. Resume can be in a functional format. Resume can be in a chronological format. Resume can be in a combination format. Resume can be either in a chronological or a functional or a combination format. I'm reading it out again. Select the best answer. 1. Resume can be in a functional format. Resume can be in a chronological format. Resume can be in a combination format. Resume can be either in a chronological or a functional or a combination format. I'm moving to the next question. Number 5. Select the best answer. A covering letter should accompany a resume. Second answer, annexures should be attached to a resume. Third, resume should have an index. 4, multiple choice questions and answers should be given along with resume. I'm just reading it again. Select the best answer. 1, a covering letter should accompany a resume. 2, annexures should to be attached to a resume. Resume should have an index. Multiple choice questions and answers should be given along with the resume. So please type in your answers. I'll give you about 2 minutes time. You can please type in your answers. In the chat window. Pushpalata Kumari, can you just recheck your answer? Pushpalata Kumari. Azil is asking a question, sir, what is annexure? Annexure is an appendix to the document. So along with the resume, you might also have, like another documents which is attached to it. Ruchi Kshatriya, can you just revise your answer? Even Kavita Bodana. Some of them have given correct answers. So I'm just giving out the right answers. The first is a resume is a document that provides information about the candidate or a prospective employee. So that was the first one. Second, resume can be in a document or a visual format. Third, resume should be short and crisp. Fourth, resume can either be in a chronological or a functional or a combination format. Fifth is a covering letter should accompany a resume. Are all the answers clear, students? Yes, everybody got the correct answers? Please type in if you got the correct answers. Just say yes so we can go to the next one. Okay, somebody's asking me, Rekha is asking me, what is a visual format? See, as I said that, nowadays YouTube is also giving you some, like some media to make a resume. So they are giving you an animated format on that. Though companies would always emphasize the written format, but some of the animation companies or, some of these media companies might welcome resumes in a visual and video format also. Okay, so let me just summarize. Let me just summarize what we have learned in this session. So first of all, we discussed what is a resume, and we said, and we all agreed that it's a document which provides information about you. Now that you would be a prospective candidate, you might be a job seeker, you might be a student, or you might be a working professional. And that is going to give information about you. And why do you need a resume? You need a resume because you have to highlight your skills, abilities, accomplishments, education, experience, exposure in the right manner, so that the chances of shortlisting for an interview are higher. Once you go for the interview, the chances of asking questions based upon your resume will be good enough, and the chances of you selecting would also be pretty good if you write a good resume. Now, a resume can be in a written form, it can be in a visual format. By and large, companies request you to do in a documented written form. Some of the companies, like these media companies, gaming companies, all animation companies might require a different format. But yes, oral format is not the format for a resume. It has to be a documented one. How long a resume should be? It should be short and crisp. It should engage the audience. So it should not be a detailed essay. It should not be a detailed document. It should be 1 or 2 pages or 2 to 3 pages. More importantly, the size of the document should not be a deterrent, because if you write 4 or 5 pages, that person will find that document to be boring and very lengthy and time consuming. So it is essential that your resume should be very short, crisp, and engaging document. What are the different formats of resume? There are 3 different formats of a resume. One is a chronological format, one is a functional format, then the third is a combination format. Chronological format gives you all, displays all the work experiences in a reverse chronological format. The most recent is at the first instant. The earliest work history is at the last. Similarly, in your education also, the most recent education will be at the top and the earliest education will be at the last. In functional format of a resume, your skills, your abilities, your traits, your accomplishments, they are given more prominence than your work history. Why? Because that employee or the prospective employee or the job seeker, he might be an excellent resource, but because of some problems, he would have lost jobs, he would not have got a job. So there will be gaps. So he will not be in a position to actually demonstrate before the person that there is quite a good work history for him. Instead, what he will try to highlight, he will highlight his skills, he will highlight his abilities, his traits, and make sure that is going to be portrayed in the right manner before the interviewer. The third is a combination. It's a hybrid. It's a mix of both the chronological as well as the functional format. Now, every resume should have a covering letter. Why? Covering letter is the first correspondence. Now, covering letter can be a hard copy, which is sent in a post. It can be in an email also. Now, the covering letter should be one where it will draw the best possible attention of that interviewer or the job person, job poster, because he's going to get the relevant and pertinent information. Only if your covering letter is a neatly, clear, concisely drafted document, then only that person is going to go and open the attachment where the resume is going to be kept. So if your covering letter is not a forceful, not effective, not a efficient covering letter, chances of that person opening that resume, downloading and saving it for consideration for the interview will also be lesser. So make sure that you have a good covering letter which accompanies your resume. Now, we also discussed that what happens once the resume is done. So as and when, you will have higher education qualifications, you might change your residences, you might change your marital status, you might go to different countries, or you might accomplish different skills, you might take different certifications. So as and when needed, periodically, your resume has to be changed, because your resume cannot be just static. What the employer wants you to know is that what is the most recent thing also which you have done. Another thing what we also discussed was the SWOT analysis. So what is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? So we discussed that some of them are internal, some of them are external. What is internal is your strengths and weaknesses. What is external is opportunities and threats. We also try to distinguish what is harmful, what is helpful. So what is helpful is your strengths and opportunities. What is harmful is weaknesses and threats. So if you make a matrix, you come to a conclusion that what is internal and what is helpful is actually the strength. So capitalize on your strength. make sure whatever is your strength, you are actually capitalize on that. Second best kya hai? What is second best? Opportunities. Try to find opportunities which you should tap it on, which you should cater to, which you should make use of, so as to make use of your resume in a better way. So you might have an IFRS opportunity, you might have a derivatives course, or wealth management, or a valuation course, or an insolvency course. So these are opportunities. It's not limited only to your CA course. So these are the opportunities before you. So you should need to be ready to tap that. And weaknesses obviously are the inherent weaknesses where you should work upon that. Threats you should overcome by means of strengthening your strengths and capitalizing on opportunities. So that's a brief summary about what we have discussed. What we are going to do in the latter session, which will begin at 2 o'clock, and it's going to be a 2-hour session again, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. We are going to again start off with the 3 formats of resume. We'll go into more details upon those 3 formats, and then I will give you tips to write an effective resume. So we'll have a good engaging session. I hope that you have enjoyed this session. I have enjoyed it myself, and I wish and feel that you found it more engaging, you found it more helpful and forthcoming, and I would expect the same amount of participation in the next session as well. All the best, students, and see you soon in an hour's time. Goodbye.